Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Vicki Townsend, and I'm the founder of theCafeD. Thank you so much for finding us and joining us for Tuesday. I created Tuesday because I wanted a place where we could go and get some inspiration and motivation designed specifically for somebody like us, somebody that has been through a tremendous life transition. And sometimes, if you are like me, you find yourself under the covers, curled in a ball, or just plain on just not knowing what to do next. So I wanted to create the opportunity and bring in some of the people that I've known over many, many years in my business with my company, Inspiration University. I wanted to bring some of the best that I know, and today is no exception. I'm really, really, really excited to bring you this topic today because we're talking about starting over, the 3 steps you need to get started to make a new life for yourself. And I have found the most amazing woman to bring to you today. Her name is Steph Stanford. Steph teaches people how to feel happy in their big old hot mess. She's a happiness expert. She shares proven techniques to build your confidence, have easier relationships, and live stress-free. Steph survived, let's see, divorce. She survived cancer, a failed business, and then negative voices in her own head that held her back and made her believe that she wasn't enough. Now she motivates masses, so many people. She encourages crowds and gives them the best tools to make their life easier. She is a well-known speaker and she's a coach. She's best known for her book, Happiness Ain't That Hard. But if you want to know about how her grandmother found 3 husbands and a millionaire, you're going to have to read her upcoming book, Let the Man Be the Man, The Secret to Find and Keep a Good Man. Steph is fun, she's a little over the top, she has the uncanny ability to make you laugh while you learn, and you can connect with her because she has a very special gift for you today. If you go on her site, she is going to share the book that she wrote that's called The Needs Men Have But Don't Talk About. And you can hop on her website right after this call today, after we get out of our Facebook group today, and go to Stanford.com. That's STEPHSTANFORD.com. And we're going to be bringing Steph back to talk about relationship building and how to be able to find love again, because that's one of our issues, isn't it? Sometimes we don't have the best in trust. And then the last thing I want to remind you that we do every Divorce RX and every time we do a Tuesday, we have a private Facebook page that not many people that are on this call know about. It's available to our members only, and it's just $7 a month, and you can go back there and you're going to be able to ask your questions directly to people like Stephanie. You'll be able to ask questions of a divorce attorney or an accountant or a wealth advisor. You'll be able to talk to people that are able to help you sell your real estate, answer questions about insurance, all sorts of amazing experts. They're going to be back in our private Facebook group that we don't bring out onto the public, and it's just available just to you. And if you want to go there now and sign up for your membership, it's really, really quick so that you can talk to this amazing woman. Go to www.theCafeD.com. You don't have to put that little E on that little thing over the E. It's THECAFED.com, and look for join our membership group. So we look forward to having you. And there's all sorts of wonderful, wonderful things that are going to be back there that we're going to be making available just to our members. So you definitely want to do that. And so today we're going to be talking to Stephanie about the 3 steps. Hello, Miss Stephanie.
Hi, Vicki. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited about Tuesday. First of all, the title's fabulous. So this is going to be fun. It's learning, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time.
And you know what? It's because as of today, as of Tuesday, we get to choose how we show up in the world, right? How we move forward. And today is a great day because you're going to be talking about starting over. So why don't you take over, and why don't you tell us what we need to do to get to direct ourselves down that path towards happiness and starting over.
I love it. Thank you for having me, by the way. I didn't say. Thanks so much. I'm so excited, everybody. Let me tell you this. Before I even begin with the 3 steps, I need to briefly tell you a little bit about who I am, because I think you want to know who you're taking relationship advice from. You know, what's her deal? What's her story? So here's my story. I've had 2 ways of learning in my life. One way is what I call hard head, soft butt. That's me. I had to learn, excuse me, I'm sorry. I had to learn from just thinking I know everything. No, no, nobody can tell me. I know what I want. I know what I'm doing. I did that for a lot of years. I made a lot of mistakes. You do learn that way, but gosh, it's hard. So I don't want anybody to have to do that. That's one reason probably Vicki and I do this kind of work. Maybe she's had a couple hard head, soft butt moments. I don't know, but
Oh,
you can fall down and try to do everything on your own, right? So
yes.
anyway, the other way I had of learning was from my grandmother. Vicki talked about it a little bit, but let me give you the short story about her because she has been my source of wisdom. Once I was ready to open my brain and actually listen to her. She died at 92 just a few years ago, but her story is this. She did have 3 husbands and a boyfriend for 30 years. And she didn't divorce anybody. She outlived every single one of them except for the last one. And let me just let that sink in for a second. 3 husbands, 1 boyfriend for 30 years. So she had no problem finding these really great men. They weren't just some guys to marry because she couldn't find anybody else. She found great man after great man in her life. And to me, that was amazing. So some years ago, after a really, really bad breakup, I flew home to Michigan, where I'm from. And I said, Grandma, I got to ask you, you don't have any problem finding a great guy or somebody to commit to you. And I'm out here with these busters. What's going on? I can't find anybody good. What's your secret? So she just laughed. And she said, honey, she looked around really quietly to make sure nobody was listening like my grandfather. She said, honey, I let the man be the man. Now, I didn't want to hear that back then. I was still in my hard head phase. I was like, Grandma, you're 90, I'm 20, 30. Graham, what are you talking about? So I kind of just discounted her knowledge for a lot of years and kept falling down. But I really eventually had to say, what I'm doing isn't working. What she's been doing is proven and it has worked. So I started going to her and asking, what about this? And how do you deal with this? And so I'm going to share some things I learned from my own falling down and some things I learned from her. Would you like the 3 steps now, Vicki, or should I?
Well, why don't we go through them one by one, because I know that it's important that we kind of learn about each one. So we'll kind of take them one by one. So what's the first step?
Well, the very first one is one that we often try to bypass because we just want to hurry and get past it. It's simply healing, to heal. That's the first step of starting over. And by the way, I guess I'm sorry, let me back up just a moment. My own relationships, I was married very young at 22. I had been with him since 16, and I was divorced by the time I was 24. I had 2 engagements in the middle, a series of crazy boyfriends, and now I'm married. I've been with the same guy for 12 years and married for 3, and he really is my best friend. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect, but I have found my best friend, so that's where I am today. Had to share that. So, but healing is the thing that I always wanted to skip through. Hurry up, let me just get past this. I don't want to work on anything. Let me just forget it. But here's the thing, and this came to me just this morning. I had my whole spiel about what I was going to talk about today, but this specifically came up today, and so I have to share it. Healing is helping elevate all learning. And I just had to stop. I sort of received that myself today during meditation. I had to just stop and kind of ask, God or a higher power, what do you want me to do with this? This is something you never told me before. And what I got was this, that healing is really teaching you how to learn from what just happened. It didn't feel good. It felt horrible. It felt like crap. But there's something in there that you needed and something the other person needed as well. And what you took from that is going to help you get where you need to go next. It's sort of like if you took 1 step and fell down, and 1 step and fell down. But each time you took 1 step, you needed to get a little higher to reach the top of that staircase. So the healing and slowing down and taking the time to heal is all part of helping you take from that mess the little golden nuggets that are good for you and that are going to help you. So let's talk a little bit about some specifics as far as healing. This is something my sister actually taught me. When I was going through a bad relationship, a bad breakup, one of the best things I learned was to be okay with what I was feeling. This is part of healing. Be okay with what you're feeling. Because you might feel, I should be over this by now. You might feel like it's not okay to be mad. He's not a bad guy, or she's not a bad woman. You might feel like my mother told me so, I should have listened. You might have a lot of feelings inside. It's just okay to be there. It's okay to feel that. And I got to tell you the truth. I remember having to write in my own journal. I was sitting at the beach, and I just had to write and write and write every terrible, nasty thing I wanted to say that was in my head and that was in my heart, because I knew that if I didn't write it out, it was going to stay inside my body and inside my cells and inside my brain and inside my heart. Like, it's sort of the first step to forgiveness, and we all know that's a big part of healing. So remember, when you're talking about healing, you have to be okay with what you're feeling right now. When you start to be okay and you start to find ways to let it out, such as through journaling or talking to maybe a special counselor if you need some help, that's okay. Do it. Be truthful about how you're feeling. That was transformative to me, to stop feeling guilty about how I felt. Just be okay with it.
It's funny you should mention journaling, because I'm not as much of a writer as I used to be. I used to be kind of a prolific writer, and the one thing that I will say that I did with journaling was that I put it all in there. Stuff that it was easier for me to write it than it was even for me to speak it, because some of it was just so vile and so and so nasty, and it almost like there was some shame in it for me. There was embarrassment in it for me. So if I didn't actually have to verbalize what happened to me, and if I just wrote it with a pen and paper, it seemed to come out easily, or easier, I should say. And the most important thing that I think that we would love everybody to know about journaling is, if you know when you go and you just kind of like vomit all of this stuff, if you want to yell at somebody, you want to scream it out, and you want to just and you're giving it all out there, and when you're done you feel better. That's what journaling like this does. So I think it's really important that they do journaling with intention, right?
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because that was really the point I was trying to make. By the way, I took my journal and ripped up those pages and threw them away, because I didn't want a chance of anybody ever seeing them again. It wasn't a journal I kept around and read. I let it out, and then I ripped it up and tossed it in small pieces, because it didn't do with anybody. You don't want anybody to find that.
I burned mine on New Year's Eve. True story.
Because you're letting that go. You're letting it go. You're letting it out of your body.
I didn't even want the energy of that journal in my space.
Exactly.
Because it had all of my garbage in it.
I totally agree. I really do. Just that's the part of healing that helps you get through, I think, the quickest. And there's one other little exercise I'll give you. We don't have time to talk about everything today. There's just so much. But when you feel like you've cleared out most of the bad feelings that you have in your heart, and that might take time. A girlfriend told me once, you can't rush a flower's growth. They grow at a certain pace. So just be okay with where you are. You know what I mean? But what you can do is, on a piece of paper, when you feel like you're maybe ready to start opening your heart again, you can write down your beliefs. What do I really believe about the other person, about myself, and about relationships, and about men or women, depending on whoever you're looking for. And you'll surprise yourself. Again, nobody's going to read this but you, so be honest. I actually used the same exercise pertaining to money not long ago, because I had to get real with myself about what I really thought about money. But this is about relationships. You write down in one column what you believe right now, the truth. And then in the other column, you write down, but what do I want to believe? What do I want to replace that with? And so then every time you create a new belief that you want to have, you can cross off one of the old ones. You might have to look at that list over and over. You might have to say it to yourself over and over. You might have to meditate about it. Beliefs sort of take time to get in your heart and your soul, but just simply writing it down and seeing it will shock you, like, wow, I used to believe that. And then you can choose something new. So that's a little exercise you can do on your own too.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. So what is the second step? So we've gone through a little bit about healing. What would be the second step?
Step 2 is what I call, very simply, just being open. This is when, okay, you've worked through those bad feelings and you feel like, maybe I could start to date again. Maybe I want to look around a little bit. You don't realize how much crap you're carrying from before. What you liked 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or even last year might be different now. And I'll also say that the world is changing. We don't realize how much stuff we carry around that our parents told us or somebody in our community told us when we were younger. I'll give you an example. I'm Caribbean and African American, and my grandma was African American and grew up in a very small town. So she could have had the belief that she should only date within her race, she should only date a certain age. She was kind of a conservative little Christian lady, but when it came to dating, she was not closed. She was very open. And so her last husband just happened to be 10 years younger than her. She met him when she was 80 and he was 70. And he was also great. Yeah, he was black. And when she met him, he wasn't a Christian. Now, they had to work on that. That was one of her, we're going to get to negotiables and non-negotiables. That was on her list. She had to have that. But the point is, she was really open about just meeting people and getting to know them before she made a judgment. Could this person be for me or not? And let me share this. That last man, after she married him, dropped a bomb. He dropped a secret. I told Vicki about this earlier. His secret was that he was a millionaire. That was his secret that he didn't tell
I want that sign to sit. I want that bomb dropped on me.
She had no idea. He was just kind of a casual guy, super sweet, so nice and so wonderful. I love him to pieces. And but the point is, if she would have been closed, saying I can only date this kind of person, she would have never had that opportunity. So being open is a big deal. How you can do that, I don't have time to go into everything, but we'll talk a little bit more about the questions pertaining to this in the CafeD room later. But she had kind of a strategy where she said, if she found a man moderately attractive and he seemed maybe interested in her with just a hello, she would just take a couple seconds to see who he was. Before she shut that door, before she said, oh, he's not dressed right, I don't know what kind of job he has, look at his old car. You don't know what kind of car that man has at home? You don't know. So she just said, don't judge a book by its cover. Get to know somebody. And it was critical, and this is the most important thing about being open. Don't look for a husband. Look for a best friend. I think that's revolutionary, and that changed my thinking and my whole relationship life. And I think that's opposite of what a lot of other people will say. They'll say, oh, is he husband material or is she wife material right off the bat? I don't say that. I say, look for your best friend. Could this person be my best friend? Are they fun? Are they easygoing? Do we enjoy doing things together? Then you can decide later if this is somebody you actually want to spend your life with or a couple months with, whatever the case might be. So being open is about being open to who, where, and when you might meet somebody. It is never too late. My grandma met a husband at 80 years old and also in her late 60s.
I love that. I wish I had known your grandmother, so I'm anxious I'm anxious to read your book about that, because that's pretty awesome and exciting that she got to experience that. And you're right. Had she not been open to the possibility, she would have never met these wonderful men, because they did not, by the book on the cover, necessarily meet what her own expectations would have been. Question for you about being open. So let's even say that somebody on this call isn't really talking about maybe meeting somebody, but they just want to be happy again. They want to get back to their old playful self. Can they also use this being open to different ideas, different concepts of happiness, different concepts of relationships, right?
Vicki, I love that you brought that up. That's we could have a whole half-an-hour call on that.
We could.
But one thing that makes women sexy and appealing to men and attractive to men is having a life and having your own experiences, opportunities, things to talk about, things that you're excited about. So I know sometimes when you get out of a relationship, your life is tied up in them. But if you take a chance and you allow yourself to be open to new experiences and trying new fun things, that makes you more interesting. And by the way, confidence comes with that too. And they find that totally sexy. They really do. Guys have told me that. So being open to what your life can be now. I know you used to live here in this neighborhood, and I'm sure it felt really good. I know what it's like to leave a neighborhood you love and have to move someplace you don't love, because that happens sometimes after a relationship. But if you're open to say, well, who knows what's going to be in this neighborhood? Maybe some new friends, maybe some people I can barbecue with. You just don't know. So yeah, being open in your life is equally as important.
I like that. So now we are on to step 3. I love this. So we've been through the healing. And I love that. I love to write down your beliefs about what your beliefs are, and then what you want them to be. Being open, don't judge a book by its cover, and being open to new concepts and ideas, as well as maybe if you're ready to go down that path of dating, which we need to do a webinar about dating after divorce.
Yes.
Sure, that's got to be that's on our next call. And then, so what is the third step?
The third thing is really about the choosing better next time. This particular step pertains to that. So it's, again, something I learned from my grandma, as well as through my own mistakes. So you've probably heard before, you should have a list. Everybody tells you, have a list, know what you want. I had a girlfriend that when I met her, she literally had 30 things on her list. That's a lot. What I learned from my grandma is have only a few things that are non-negotiables. I would say 5 to 7. They're deal breakers. You cannot live without this. You can't live without it today. You're not going to be able to live without it 10 years from now. But all those other things that you want, be flexible on the non-negotiables. And I say that because, honestly, clearly none of us is perfect. But if you can get somebody that has the base things that can truly make you happy, then you're going to be a happy person. And you might not even know what your non-negotiables are, but if you don't know specifically what's on your list of must-haves versus would-likes, you make wrong choices. Let me give you an example. Many years ago when I was single, I was in better shape. It was a long time ago, but finding guys that were in super great shape, that was really important to me. There's nothing wrong with having that as your non-negotiable, but for me personally, that didn't work as my number, is within my core, my non-negotiables, because I would see guys that were in phenomenal shape. They looked great, but they really lacked some of the personality things that I really needed to be with someone for a long time. And I didn't realize that, so I kept choosing the same guy. Looked great, athletic, looked great. But he wasn't fun. He wasn't easygoing. He didn't love Caribbean music, and I really do. That's part of my culture. So these things made a difference in how successful our relationship could be in the future. So what I'm saying is this. Know your non-negotiables. You got to figure that out. Choose 5 to 7. I got to have it. Choose some I can live without. And don't be afraid if somebody's on the cusps. They have 4, and that 5th one is a maybe. Don't be afraid to just talk to me about it and say, I think you're really amazing. I think you're pretty phenomenal. I love hanging out with you. Would you ever consider a little more of this or a little less of this, because this is really important to me and I'd like us to make each other happy. My grandma did that. When she was a little more to the point, though, when she met that last husband, he didn't go to church. His son did. He didn't go to church, and that was on her list. That's a non-negotiable for her. So she told him, she said, look, he asked her to marry her, and she said, not yet, not yet. She said, I got to talk to you. She said, I think you're fabulous. I think you're an amazing man. But going to church is important to me, and believing in Jesus Christ. That was her life. That was her important thing. She said, I'm going to need a man who can commit to coming to church with me and believe in what I believe in. So I'm not pushing you. It's up to you. But I can't live my life with somebody. We can be friends. We can hang out. But I need you to agree to this thing. And he was on it like that. Apparently, he was ready to go. So the very next weekend, he started going to church, and that was it. But knowing what you want and what's flexible is critical. And you can ask for that last thing and see if they can adjust.
So if you were to, so how do you start making a list? So we're talking about relationships and starting over with, getting back into the relationship thing. How do you take that non-negotiables for just happiness in general?
So not so much for choosing a mate, but for living your life? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I guess you can kind of apply that to your friends as well, because if you're coming out of a relationship, you might even be changing friendships, circles of friends. Some people that have been in relationships for a long time, even a year maybe, anything over a year, you start to kind of share friends. So your life shifts. So start figuring out what's most important to you. And you might not know. I want you to know that you don't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm crystal clear, I know everything, I know my beliefs, I know what I'm doing. You're learning, like babies, right? Babies don't just go from crawling to running down the road. They have a little practice in between there where they have some missteps, right? So it's about continually checking with yourself. I'll say this. I think the greatest thing you can do for yourself is to have some quiet time. where you have no radio, no phone, no one talking to you, no music, nothing. You can even have it in your car when you're driving somewhere and just turn everything off, even if it's only for 10 minutes. It's amazing how difficult it is for some people to be quiet for 10 minutes. That's hard, to not check on anything. You have to just allow yourself to be quiet and to be still. That alone will help you figure out who you are and what you want. You don't have to consciously figure it out. You'll find if you spend time being quiet that awareness just comes to you. And so that list of negotiables and non-negotiables, you'll sort of feel it. And it's not necessarily something that you must figure. You feel with your heart. I don't know if I answered the question, but some of these things are not like a test you can take. It's something you have to feel with your soul.
Yeah, no, I agree. I understand that most definitely. And so when you start over in a relationship, you've got non-negotiables, and in your life, you've got non-negotiables. Well, I think with how you live your life, where the types of jobs that are non-negotiables, right? There are some jobs out there that it doesn't matter how much you pay. There's those types of non-negotiables. There's non-negotiables with how you are treated by other people. And I think that that's really important to know where your boundaries are and what your own non-negotiables with how you're going to be willing to be treated by somebody, whether that's a coworker, whether that's a neighbor, whether that's a relationship, even your children. So there are non-negotiables. I think that this is a great exercise to even for self-discovery, to understand what is a non-negotiable in all of those areas of your life so that you can actually participate in it fully and start over. And understand this is where I'm starting from, right? Because that's where we're talking about. This is where I start from, and as of today, this is a non-negotiable for me. Being treated with respect and kindness is a non-negotiable, right?
Absolutely. I love you brought that up because it made me think about one more thing pertaining to non-negotiables. This whole thing of self-discovery and figuring out what you like, how you like to be treated, how you want to feel when someone is treating you in a certain way, it does pertain to all of your friends, your family, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife relationships. But it's all about learning what you want to give and what you want to receive. In some of my other relationships that didn't work out, I gave so much to the point that I almost broke. The cool thing is that this is your time. This is your time where they say you get to reinvent yourself. So if last year or 2 years ago or 15 years ago, all you did was work and stay home and take care of the kids, and if that was or maybe you worked 1 million hours at your job, you get to choose. This is Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
You get to choose what you want to be from this second moving forward. If you don't want that to be you anymore, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't be that anymore. If you are a fun, crazy girl who wants to have big curls, honey, rock them. Do your thing. You get to be new starting today, and that's what all this stuff is about. You get to choose.
That's awesome. Well, you are wonderful. Well, we are coming up on 1:30, so I want to remind everybody that we are going to be back on our very private Facebook page, our Facebook group, and we want you to be a member. So if you guys go right now to theCafeD.com and grab your membership, it just starts at $7 a month, and you can go back and have access to people like Steph. Also, make sure that you absolutely get her freebie that she's got on her website. I'm going to write that. Let me see. I have it written down here somewhere. Oh, my gosh. It is the needs men have but don't talk about. And Stephanie said something when we were talking about this today, that Stephanie thinks that this is a book for men as well as women, because men don't talk about it, and we kind of blurt out everything that we want with no hesitation. So this kind of is a great book on how to just communicate between the two of you, right?
It is. I love that you brought that up. Yeah, it's free for women. What'd you say?
And it's free. That's awesome.
It is free. It's for women to understand what men want, because sometimes they don't articulate that. And it's for men to read so they can realize, yeah, I do need that, and maybe have a little bit of help starting to talk about that with us, because that'll make their lives easier too. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for being here and for listening and just being open. If you're on this call, you're open to
You're
something new.
open.
We're working with Vicki, so you're doing it. You're doing it.
Lesson number 2, so healing, be open, and know your non-negotiables. Stephanie, thank you so much. We're going to see you back at our private Facebook group. Everybody, www.thecafed.com, and join us back there. We will be waiting for you to take your questions and ask away on how you can get your happiness. Looking forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much. And next on Divorce RX, we've got a divorce attorney coming up to give you some advice on how to handle all of that stuff. So we will see you on Thursday. Tell your friends. Let everybody know that this is what we're doing. We look forward to seeing you there. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.